Awesome. Hey, it's another Monday night.
It is. You know what that means. It's time for the TFR Motivation Monday Zoom call.
So exciting. This is Dondi and Marcy Nettles.
Yeah.
We're super excited that you're on here with us live. If you're able to, it's always good to be here live because you just feel things a little bit different.
I know, right?
Plus you get to hear it first, right? But if you are not able to join in live on Monday nights at this time, then just keep in mind, if you go and subscribe to the Team Freedom Marines YouTube channel, you will get notifications every single week when we upload the new content, so that you can go and listen and apply it into your schedule, into your lives for success in your LifeVantage business and in life. So let's go ahead and we'll move along here into the announcements quickly. Guys, there's 5 days left in this Tri-Synergizer promotion. For any new person that either checks out as a customer or enrolls as a distributor with the Tri-Synergizer stack, they will receive free Cherry Axial through the end of February, and you'll get 5 points towards the Road to Convention promotion that's going on. For details on that, go and check out your replicated website underneath promotions for all of the details. Plus, you still have the opportunity to purchase 2 of the packages of the Tri-Synergizer sachets to get the 30 free mini brochures. That's a really cool thing to be able to share.
They're pretty cool looking too.
Yeah, whether you choose to do free samples or purchase samples, which we highly recommend samples, those little brochures are just gold to be able to give to people on why it's so important and what they have in their hands. So 5 days left for that, plus 5 days left for this.
5 days left for this. You got to pre-register for convention because it's going to go up $20 if you wait 5 days, because waiting, anytime you wait, it costs you more money. So that's just fiscally irresponsible, also known as stupid. So do not wait. Save yourself $20.
Don't be dumb. Come on, people.
Dumb.
If you are committed to building your business, you have to be at these events. It's non-negotiable, right? So just block it out in your calendars, pay for it now, and then get to work to earn the money to take care of that, right? So get pre-registered.
Do it.
And then this is another really big deal. LifeVantage is coming to you. All of these regional events are going to be happening through the months of March, April, and May, and seating is limited. They just let us know that seating is very limited, and if you don't pre-register, there is no registration at the door. So that means if you want to go, you better put it up right now.
You better go.
Right?
Seating is limited, but commitment is mandatory.
Yes.
So if you want to be there, you must pre-register.
And the link, just go to the lifevantage.com, and down at the bottom, you'll see in the quick links, regional tours, and you can find the one that is closest to you. So go and do that after this call. Now, guys, this is what we're here for. This is why we're so excited. It's like, I want to give you a high five already, just because this is going to be a killer call with this amazing rock star that we've got on here with us. You know, when we were in Cancun, there was so many just fabulous presenters, but Gary was one of the ones that really had the light shine. The information that he's going to be sharing with you guys tonight is just not just life-changing, but it's mind-blowing on what type of power you have yourself. But Gary is just one of those guys that I just really, ever since I met him, I just feel like we became fast friends just quickly. That smile that he always has on his face. And yet, if you need, he will tell you the way things are. If you need to be either, you know, corrected or whatever, but he always does it in a kind and loving manner. Right. That still fist there. But we are so excited, you know, to have Gary here. Do you want to share a little bit about Gary? Yeah,
Gary's just one of those guys, like Marcy said, he's got $1 million smile, but he also has a $1 billion focus. And he knows what it takes to be a champion. He's an elite athlete on many different things and just has that intensity level. And that's one of the things I've always admired about Gary from the first time I met him, close to 10 years ago, I think. But I remember watching him on stage. It must have been, oh my gosh, 2014, 2015 for the first time, and watching him like the Energizer Bunny with a mic in his hand and a story to tell. And he is an amazing storyteller, as you guys are about to find out. But he's one of those guys that I just admire from afar because he's on one coast, we're kind of close to the other. But every time we get a chance to be in his presence, I get something. That's the kind of guy this guy is. He's high intensity, high commitment, and you guys are in for a treat. So I hope, and I was kind of delaying this a little bit so you can get your notes open, get something to write with, because you are not going to want to miss it. He brings the fire. So Gary, thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be our special guest. Thank you for your friendship, but more importantly, man, thank you for the leadership that you bring to this company, because you make it a better company just by your presence in it, buddy.
Yeah,
thank you.
Well, Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. Hey, I see myself now. I think it was
There you
because
are.
you were screen sharing. So I am here. We'll center that just a little bit so I look more scholarly. So first of all, thank you. So here, little known fact, Don D. Nettles taught the first ever premier school that I attended. And I attended that premier school 1 week after having an ACL reconstruction. And I drove myself to Tampa and back. So when we talk about these events being important, that's how important they are. If I would have missed that meeting, there's a high probability we wouldn't be on this call right now, because Don D connected with me. We're two scientific geeks, right? He's a chiropractor, was a chiropractor, retired now. Was a physical therapist. And so we connected. And then, right, Marcy, the first minute I met you, we were like instant buds for life. I mean, we hang out. I'm like, oh, law enforcement officer? Okay, I'm married into a family full of them. Tell me how to survive this marriage. Now I'm going on 20 years this year. So something you told me must have stuck. I took notes. So yeah, get your pens and pads out. Here's the deal real quick. I've already enrolled three preferred customers on the Tri-Synergizer this month. I'm just recapping your things that you just talked about. I'm already registered for global. I already have my airfare, I already have my hotel and everything booked. And I've already got my regional booked as well. So guys, if your leaders are telling you that to do it and that they've done it, and you're talking to another leader who has done it, it would probably be a good idea to do something similar to what we've been talking about. So that leads me straight in. So at Elite Academy, I didn't get up there and tell my story and thank everybody out there. I opened with a story. And it was a story to set the mood, a story about riding along one day while I was warming up for a bike race and just saying out on a whim to a guy, hey, Hanson, didn't you do the state time trial last year? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, I'm thinking about doing it. And he said, man, you'd be great at it. You could win that. And I'm thinking, here's a guy that's won it telling me that, right? And on the other hand, there were two guys behind me listening in that I didn't even know were listening in. And these guys were in the back chatting to one another. And one of them said, there's no way in hell, sorry to use that word, but that's the one he used. I used heck on stage, but here I'm going to lay fire. There's no way in hell that Gary can win that race. He'd have to beat guys like Lancaster and Grant Potter. I got some of the pictures of these guys and the pictures down the way here of these guys. I mean, these are the guys I raced against right there. And he's like, you're going to have to beat those guys. And they didn't know I heard them. And I fuel on that stuff. See, when somebody tells you that you can't do it, how do you feel? Does that fuel you or does that defeat you? And I'm going to come back to that point, but I want you to think about that. So then along the way, there were tons of challenges. So I had somebody believing in me, somebody not believing in me, and I had to make up my mind, which one was I going to listen to, right? So others may believe in you before you believe in yourself. Listen to them. Don D believed in me while I was still like, am I going to survive this ACL reconstruction of my knee, let alone build this wonky business, right? I thought this thing's silly. I'm not in the business. I'm just telling my friends and family about it because I'm passionate about these products, but I'm not going to do this silly business thing. But see, he was believing in me. He remembers that, but he doesn't realize the impact that he made on me. You may not realize the impact that you're making on others. So keep that in the back of your mind. Now, I went on with the story and I told about all the challenges I faced. Guys, I didn't even talk about one. One, I had 104-degree fever when I did the race. Another one, I had a flat tire in the middle of the race because I got run off the road in the middle of the race. I signed up for one of those things, AKA LifeVantage, right, along the way. I opened up a bike shop with my friends. It's celebrating 10 years this year. I have a picture of it back here. And then I got hit by a car. And that's how I ended up meeting Don D, because I went to that premier school. I got hit by a car, had to have an ACL reconstruction. And so my belief was in the toilet. I knew if I was healthy, I could win this thing, but right now it's in the toilet. And then I come back and I start fighting back, right? And what I realized was I thought I physically to recover in order to get to where I had to be. But first I had to visualize it, like Napoleon Hill says, write this one down. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Guys, I had to see it happening first. If I didn't, if I saw myself not getting well from my knee or not being able to put in the workouts or whatever else, I would never be able to get there. So what the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So I conceived it, I believed it, I visualized it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. Then this guy, Jeb, comes along. Jeb, ironically, was a LifeVantage distributor at one point. He's not here anymore. This should tell you something about belief, okay? He comes up to me at that race, 4.5 months after having my knee fully reconstructed. He goes, man, kind of one of those sarcastic, like, man, I'm sorry to hear what happened. And I'm like, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. He goes, how are you doing? I said, I'm doing great. He goes, have you been able to train? I'm like, yep. He goes, how do you think you're going to do? I said, I already won. And I looked him straight in the eye. He turned ghastly white and he was defeated in that moment. So what's the lesson from this? Why did I open with that story? Guys, because belief predicates everything that we do in our lives. Everything that we do in our lives is predicated on belief, and belief is everything. And if you don't believe me, and there's a pun intended in there, then you need to listen in to why is it so critically important. Guys, we're in a business of selling. I know we say we're not selling, we're sharing, we are, but ultimately, somebody needs to purchase product from LifeVantage in order for you to get compensated. At the end of the day, a sale needs to take place between LifeVantage and your customer or distributor, right? If that product doesn't exchange hands, you don't get paid. So in every instance in life, somebody's winning and somebody's losing. Don D, you wouldn't have shown up at the altar if you didn't think Marcy was going to be there. And Marcy, you wouldn't have shown up if you didn't think he meant it when he asked you, right?
True.
Everything we do is predicated on belief. Guys, everything in sales or these transactions that we have with others, these relationship building activities that we have with others is merely a transfer of belief, and the person with the most belief wins, period. So you're either buying into what they're telling you. Are they telling you they don't have the time, they don't have the money, they're not a salesperson, they don't do supplements, they're not smart enough, they don't know enough people, this, that? Are you believing that? Or are you just realizing they're just throwing things up your way to test your belief? See, that's what they're doing, is they're testing you. And here's what we think. We think we have to know everything, and we don't. We just have to know that we know. They just have to know that we know. See, they don't have to know what we know. They just have to know that we know. See, you have this different swagger about you. You know, Don D, I appreciate the introduction when you said, when I walk on stage, I have that swagger because I know my material so well. I've studied it so much that when I go out there, I don't have to think and try to recall it. It's just natural because I've already been putting it into practice. Okay? So learn what you need to learn, but don't waste your time learning everything there is to know. Just know it's there and give yourself that backbone. And then as long as they know that you know, you're winning. So what are some of the areas you need to have belief in? I talked about the 4 pillars of belief. Guys, this right here is the basis for everything. It is the basis for everything. The 4 pillars of belief are simple. 1, the belief in the products. 2, belief in the company. 3, belief in the industry. I like to call it a profession because I believe I'm in a new profession or career, but industry/profession. And 4, you got to believe in yourself. So what are some of the things? Why is this important? Well, you got to believe in the products, right? You got to be a product of the products. You got to use them. So what better way to build your belief than build your own story? I was talking to a distributor today, and she's upgrading to a platinum pack because she wants to experience the other products that the company has. She said, I can't go out and talk to people if I don't have a story. I'm like, well, you can borrow others, but you develop your own. It's far more powerful, and your belief rises. You go from maybe a 4 or a 5 to a 9 or a 10. And then people know that you know, right? So those are some things. You can go read the studies. You can go talk to people. You can hear testimonials. You can go on our website and watch the videos that the company has done. There's plenty of places you can go to build your product belief. Company has made it insanely easy for us recently, guys. So insanely easy. Now, outside of today, any investors on the line, probably not the best day to talk about any stock. The market tanked today. Go figure, our friends over in Asia spreading their little virus thing all around the world. Nobody's happy about it. But prior to that, our stock has been on a run. It went down just like everybody else's. It's not down worse than everybody else's. It's actually down less than all the other stocks today. But it was on a tear to $17.10 recently. We rang the closing bell at NASDAQ. We have the best and most experienced leadership team on the corporate side we've ever had. So if you're ever doubting the company, just look at some of those things. Just look at our public profile and think, other companies have people running it that are privately held, and you have no idea what they're doing. They're going to pull the rug right out from under you. Here, that can't happen because we're publicly traded. So that built my belief in the company and what we've undergone. We've sustained 10 years in the network marketing space, yet nobody knows who we are. We're a baby. There's still so much upside potential. 3, the industry, profession. This was a hard one. It's a hard one for most people. Most people fall in love with the products, then they fall in love with LifeVantage, and they're still a little iffy about this. Yeah, I'm in that. I'm promoting a global leadership program where we're building companies worldwide and No, we're in network marketing, guys, and it's awesome. People ask me now, is that network marketing? I'm like, yes, thank goodness it is. Otherwise, I'd still be a sales rep for a $40 billion pharmaceutical company, miserable out of my life. So how do you get that kind of belief in our profession? Go watch people like these mentors that we have, the Eric Worreys, the Zig Ziglars, the Jim Rohns, Tony Robbins, E.T. the hip hop preacher. Then how about others in our profession like Ray Higdon and Rob Sperry? Some of the more neutral coaches. Be careful. Some of the coaches out there, guys, and I didn't say this from stage because I didn't want to offend anybody, but some of the coaches out there are still building active downlines. So be careful where you go get your information, but go to some of those people. I just said they're all neutral. They're there to help raise the whole game. Go watch Eric Worre's Rise of the Entrepreneur. Get Business from Home magazine or the app and look at where we rank. Look at how we're moving up the rankings in earnings, how we're moving up the rankings in people searching for our company. Guys, we are on fire and the industry is massive. And the 4th area is in yourself. See, in yourself, that's where you need to do more personal development. Maybe that's where I should have said people like Eric Worre and Jim Rohn and your Les Browns, right? These people that are really trying to get your mind in the right place. So Don D brought up a point. He said, you look scholarly in front of your bookshelf. So do you guys, by the way. I see your books behind you. Here's the deal. I had 2 self-help books when I started this business. I called them self-help. That's what my mom said when she gave them to me. When I was struggling as a young man, she gave me Deepak Chopra book and a Stephen Covey book, right? Oh, and Dr. Seuss, the places you'll go. That's kind of self-help too, if you think about it in his own little unique way. So I had 3. I started this profession with 3 of those books. 9 years later, and that's just some of them. There's more down there that you can't even see. There's more on another shelf over there that you can't see. Guys, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that I dug deep. I dug deep to see what did I need to do with me so I believed in me more. Reach out to your upline leaders. They'll help you build your belief in yourself. Attend events. That's where you really start to believe in all 4 pillars, the product, the company, the profession, and yourself, because you're like, wow, here's the deal. I looked at people up on stage. I looked at Scott Satterfield. Love the guy to death. He came from medical sales. So did I. I look at him up there on stage. I'm like, dude, if that guy can do it, I can do it. There's no diss to Scott. I'm just like, he's just a normal guy. Like, we had so much in common. And it gave me more belief in myself. Now, I talked about a 5th principle, and that's the belief in others. Because people come to you in what's called a belief deficit. They show up, and they're super excited about the product usually. They're like, wow, this sounds amazing. We could make boatloads of money. And then when they got to dig in and actually start doing it, all the fears come out. And their belief in themselves is usually not even a 1, it's a 0. It's low. And they're throwing an invisible bridge out to you, asking you for help, asking you to build the bridge across to them. So you got to believe in others before they believe in themselves. And here's another great quote. You can never be a good business builder until you're a great belief builder. In order to be a good business builder, you have to be a great belief builder. Because as you build that belief in others, they start to believe that they can do it. And do they have to do something first? If you hit the rank of Pro 1, then I'm going to believe in you. Or if you hit the rank of Pro 3 and you're a pace setter, then I'm going to. No, guys, there should be no conditions at all. Believe in everybody. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Somebody did for you, so why shouldn't you for them? And a way that you can build that quickly is what I call the first dollar, first hour principle. Now, always go with what Marcy and Don D teach you as far as to getting started, but I'm pretty sure we all get started the same way. And they could sit there and talk to you for 3 hours about how to do this, or they could give you talk to you a little bit, find out what your why is, what some of your goals are, and then bam, jump in and start doing the business. Because how cool would it be if in your first hour you made money? I call it the first dollar, first hour principle. And the crazy thing is, Justin gets up on stage and talks about the four belief pillars. He called them confidences. And then Darren gets up there and talks about making money within your first, few days in the business. I'm like, man, I must have been, and we didn't talk beforehand. They had not seen my speech. They had no idea what I was talking about. Jesse Allen, who had seen my speech, is looking at me and looking at them like, are you, we're backstage. He's like, are you cool going behind them? I'm like, oh yeah, they just teed me up and I'm just going to reiterate what they just said. They just third party validated what I'm about to say. So if your two highest corporate leaders are saying it and I'm saying it, those are the things that you need to believe in, right? That's what you need to do. And go help them make $1 right away. $100 preferred customer, 100-point preferred customer, they're making $40. They may have just spent anywhere from on the low end to $350 to on the high end $1,250 to get into the business. And they just made back $40 and they're singing the praises. Guys, there were times that I had 5-figure bonuses in my pharmaceutical career. And that $77 check that I got, the first one, I'll never forget it. A 2-figure check was more important to me than a 5-figure check. That's how miserable I was in my profession. And that's how much it meant to me because I created this. I did it with the help of the upline mentors and the people that have been there before you. So we talked about that. So let's talk a little bit more, real quick about mindset. So I'm going to read this one because this was a little bit longer. I'll read it. Mind control is the result of self-discipline and habit. You either control your mind or it controls you. There's no halfway compromise. So mind control is self-discipline and habit. See, we have to make these things habit. And you either control it or it controls you. There's no way around that, guys. So are you letting all the things that are happening around you control you? Or are you figuring out ways to get your mind in the right place? And one place to start is with focus. Guilty as charged. Guys, I was on a coaching call where I wasn't doing the coaching. I was being coached today. And the coach brought out something that I had never even thought of. And I'm like, Carson, I talked about this on stage 2 weeks ago. I was like kind of getting all quiet. He's like, what? I'm like, I'm kind of embarrassed to say that I talked about focus 2 weeks ago on stage. And yet here I am realizing I'm still not 100% in this area. Guys, we can always improve. So what do I mean by focus? It's simple. Do you focus on what you have or what you don't have? Do you focus on what you can control or that which you cannot control? And finally, do you stress about the past? Are you worried about what's going to happen in the future, or do you live right here and now in the present? Why is that crucial? If you're stressed about what you don't have, you're going to continue to get nothing. Because you're focused on what you don't have, and all of your focus is on what you don't have. And you're bringing that negative energy, and you're saying, yeah, I want a new car, but man, my car is a wreck, and my business is a wreck, and I'm not making any money right now, and I haven't rank advanced in months. So if that's the deal, you're focused. Why don't you focus on, okay, why do I want a new car? Because I want reliable transportation for my family. What would that mean to me? Gosh, I wouldn't have to be embarrassed to start the car around the corner when it does that backfire thing and all the other parents look at me funny. And my kid won't be so embarrassed to ride with me to school. And we'll actually make it to school on time every day. And I'll make it to work on time every day. Like, that's what the car means. And if I just focus on that and I keep focusing on that, you see how it's just like pulling me towards that. I'm not even thinking about the rent-a-wreck anymore. Because I am so laser focused on this. That's what I'm going to go after and get. So what do you focus on? What does this mean? So the quality of our lives is controlled by the meaning that we assign to these things. So you get your focus down pat first. Second step, there's 3 things of focus. Have, don't have, control, can't control, past, present, or future. Past, future, or present. Present's most important. What does this mean? So the quality of our life. So we attach these meanings to it, right? If it's, you stress out at the same, Jim Rohn said it, that the same wind blows upon all of us, and our destination is determined by the set of our sails. I may have butchered that a little bit, but the principle is there. Same winds are blowing on all of us. We all have the same compliance. We all have the same compliance right now. Guys, the same compliance people that are talking to you, they're talking to me. Eric's called me a couple times. I've made mistakes, and I've not been happy about having to change them. I felt like, oh, but they, and then I'm like, you know what? Who cares what they did? That's a victim mentality if I'm worried about what everybody else is doing. I'm going to take the conqueror mentality, and I'm going to do this. Why? This is my baby. Like Brandon Cunningham says, this is mama. Don't mess with my mama. So that's why compliance does what they do, so that we can be here in 50 years and not shut down like other massive companies have been lately, guys. The meaning that I attach to these things is extremely important, and it needs to be for you. And the final thing is, what action am I going to take? Because see, the emotional state that you're in and what you're focused on and the meaning you give it determines how much action you're going to take. If you have a high belief in what you're doing, if you're laser focused on what you're doing, if you are giving it a meaning that's important to you, and that ties back into your why. Remember I said at the beginning, don't just sit down and get all this knowledge and do all this training. I said there's one critical step. Find out, why are you in this and what do you want out of it? And then go get it. How? The how, you'll learn that along the way. Richard Branson says, jump out the window. Figure out how to build the wings on the way down. That's what entrepreneurs do. You'll figure it out. You know the cool thing? You can stumble and fumble your way along and you'll be making money. And guys and gals like Marcy and Dondi and myself and all these other leaders in this company and the leaders that came before you will help pick you back up, dust you off, and push you on your way so that you can go make the next couple bucks while you stumble and fall like we all did. So you'll take a greater action if you're in the right emotional state. And you'll be in a better emotional state if you assign better meanings to things and if you're focused on the right things. You see how it's all related? It's those three things. So finally, if you want different outcomes in life, you need different patterns. So here's the progression. And you guys can always go back and rewatch this. So I'm going to go through this kind of quick, but change your belief patterns first. Then change your focus. We talked about focus. Then change the meaning you attach to what has or happened to you. Maybe it's not what's happened to you. Maybe it's what hasn't happened. How come I'm not a Pro 8 yet? Because of me. See, when I own that, now I'm a Pro 8 and a 9 and a 10. I know I am. Doesn't rely on anybody else. I believe I can. I'm laser focused on what I need to do. The meaning I'm attaching to it, it's super important for me, for my family, more important for the people on my team. And when I started taking their well-being in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I put it in the forefront of my mind. See, all of that will lead to changing your mindset and your actions and the actions that you're willing to take. And that leads to abundantly different results and outcomes at the end of the day. It's a solution seeker mindset. So I hope you hear how important mindset is. See, we think it's the skills. When I learn how to X, when I learn how to do this, then I'm going to get, when I learn how to do X, I'm going to do Y. Okay, here's the deal. Think about this one for a second. How hard is it to teach somebody how to pick up a phone and dial a phone number? How hard is it to pick up a phone and text somebody? How hard is it to message somebody on Facebook Messenger? How hard is it to send the link to a video? How hard is it to send the link to a webinar or to send an address to a meeting? How hard is it to go meet with somebody and actually read through a presentation? You don't have to say it. You could literally be reading right off a sheet of paper, right off of a slide, right off of a, how hard is that? How hard is it to go follow up with a friend and say, hey, how's it going? How hard is it to enroll? I mean, ultimately, on the end of the day, you get on the computer or on the app and you follow the link and you click on it and you have them put in their personal information. And 5 minutes later, you're in business that could potentially be a multi-million-dollar business. How hard is that? It's not hard. How about reading through a checklist and helping to get your person launched? Not hard. So I ask you this one question. Then why aren't more people doing it? None of those skills or behaviors I just said to you are hard. They're simple. I didn't say it from stage, but I said it on a podcast that I was recently interviewed for. Rob Sperry's podcast, if I can plug that, his Network Marketing Breakthroughs is amazing. You're going to hear mine coming up soon. And nobody knows that except you guys. I haven't even told my team that yet. But here's the deal. I said it, I didn't say it from stage. I wanted to be respectful of everybody that's in the room, but we're being real. We're being raw tonight, guys. You can teach a monkey how to do this business. So what separates people? That's it. Your belief, your mindset, and overcoming your fears. And the number one fear is the fear of judgment. And this is where I plug Rob's book, The Game of Conquering. Because in there he talks about a victim, a survivor, and a conqueror mindset. And I find myself going through my day now, asking myself, which am I right now? Am I the victim? Oh, of course, Marcy and Don D are pro 9s, and I'm only a pro 7. Guys, Sean and Michelle Poe enrolled the same day I did, like literally 2 days apart. They're 9s, I'm a 7. How do you think that messed with my, oh, but they lived here, and they had this, and they didn't have anything. They outworked me. They had a better mindset than I did. It's that simple. See, I went from being the victim to not just being a survivor. Oh, I'm going to stick it out. I'm never going to quit. Never going to quit. That's great. How about you win? That's what the conqueror says. The conqueror goes, not only am I going to stick it out and never going to quit, I am going to conquer this thing. I will be at the top rank in this company. And you guys see, did it have anything to do with skills? 0. 100% to do with your belief, your mindset, and conquering your fears. And guys, the number one fear is fear of judgment, because all the others are related to it. Fear of success, that goes back to judgment. They're going to judge me. Fear of failure, well, they're going to judge me again. Every fear relates back to the fear of judgment. So here's the deal. Are you just going to do it and not worry about, who cares how people judge you? Judgment is in the eyes of the beholder anyway, guys. There's really only one being. Be nice. I don't know that everybody believes in the same thing. There's only one being at the end of the day that you need to be worried about being judged by. If you go live a good life, you go live an ethical and moral life, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about what anybody else says. They don't pay your bills. They don't raise your kids. I put my kids in this environment. My son, I would put him in front of any leader in this company over a college professor 11 out of 10 times. My wife doesn't like when I say that. She's got the master's degree. I've only got the bachelor's. Believe it or not, I could be a PT with a bachelor's degree. But here's the deal. I believe in every single one of you guys. I would put my son in that environment in a heartbeat. That's how I want him to grow up, with moral and ethical values, with a hard work ethic, with desire for change, and a heart of gold that wants to help everybody else win. Do you? If you do, just believe. So I hope that helped. I think I came in 3 minutes over. Sorry.
Dude, it's okay.
I'm sweating right now.
Wow.
That was amazing. Seriously, Gary, you just totally brought the whole thing. And I love how you just broke it down on where you have to start. You have to start with your belief, and then your focus, and then applying the meaning to it, your mindset, and placing action, taking action, right? That was so concise and just clear. It was so good. Thank you so much.
And when you were talking about winning and not quitting, and the difference between winning and excelling, it kind of reminds me, I remember it's 4 years ago in the 2016 Olympics in Rio, when that guy Chad Leclos from South Africa was swimming against Michael Phelps, and the pre-swim thing, he was walking in front of him, taunting him, and you're talking about focus. Michael Phelps was just super focused because Chad had beat him in other competitions. And he was trying to say, look at me, the peacock thing. Michael Phelps was focused. The other guy was parading around. And there's a meme that's one of the most popular memes. And it says, winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners. And he's just looking over at Michael Phelps.
It's the one where he's like this.
Yes, yeah. And he's watching Michael beat him.
Yeah. And it's just because
my son's a butterflyer, and I showed him that picture. I said, I ever catch you doing that, you're going to stay in the pool after the race is over. I'm not your coach, but I'll make you stay in the pool and keep swimming.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. The mindset of a winner is so key. And it's like, even when you get to a certain level of success, and whether it's in life, in a traditional job, in sports, and you know what winning is like, you kind of start to take it for granted. that you have to stay razor sharp. You have to keep polishing. You have to keep renewing your mind. And when other people come, and then like, I love your example of seeing Scott up there and going, he's a regular guy. I'm a regular guy. If he can do it, I can do it. You didn't focus on, well, he's better looking than me. He speaks with an Elvis accent and I don't. Cause I've thought about,
oh my gosh, his voice.
He's a great guy. Look at that voice. It's golden. And I'm like, you know what? So thank you. You helped me a lot in this on what to focus on and what to not focus on and all the chatter that comes, So thank you. Yeah, you crushed it, man. Great job.
So amazing. We appreciate you so very much. And we look forward to seeing you walk stage this year as a Pro 8. And I would say go for 9, dude. Go for 9. Yeah, absolutely.
Why not, right?
Seriously. I mean, you aim low, you're going to hit low.
Yep.
You aim high and baby, the sky's the limit, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come in here and share this again because we just had an amazing call. So everybody, we want you to know what's coming up on the docket for the next 2 #TFR Motivation Monday calls. We've got Elite Pro 9 Marcy Steiner coming to us next week. She's going to be teaching you all about the game of LifeVantage, right? It's such an amazing presentation she did. And then she will be followed the next week by John Garner. Elite Pro 7 had an amazing presentation as well. So please make sure that you've got this booked into your calendar. It is the same Zoom link every single week, every week, right? And then tomorrow night.
Every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Every Tuesday, we do the LifeVantage overview. So please put that on your calendar. And do not miss it. Invite all of your prospects. Invite your team to get refreshed on this. But it's every week like clockwork. You can set your clock to it. It's so common. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
And I just had one. Go ahead.
One thing that we do on this LVO too is we always use the long form of the PowerPoint presentation so that you know what you're inviting to. It's consistent, the same message, so you can count on it.
Yeah. So I just have a question. And the 2 books you mentioned, you said you had one by Deepak Chopra and one by Stephen Covey. So I just want to know, because I had my first 2 personal help books or self-help books was one by Stephen Covey and one by Deepak Chopra. Deepak Chopra's was called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And Stephen Covey's was the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Are those the ones you had?
The exact same 2, brother. The exact same 2.
I think that's a clue.
How crazy is that?
That is amazing.
That's a clue, right?
Yeah. Definitely. Success leaves clues. That's another quote I've heard at every LifeVantage event. And, Fred Graves said that. If somebody has something or does something, it means 2 things. 1, it's possible. And 2, you got to do what they did to get it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we appreciate you so much, Gary.
You so much.
Thank you. And we look forward, like we said, to just seeing you rise. Because you know what? We all rise together, that tide thing, right?
Yep.
So thank you again. And everybody, we look forward to seeing you next Monday night, but first tomorrow night on the Live Opportunity Overview.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
Great job, buddy.
Good night, guys. Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You're welcome.